Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. Anna Alchemist of the Arts here. Whether you are new or whether you are returning, I bid you welcome. It is wonderful to have you here. This reading we're going to be asking for messages from your spirit guides, angels, ancestors, whichever term, whichever you associate with or identify with, we're going to be asking to bring through the messages you need to hear right now. So I have got 3 piles here today. These are 3 prints of my artwork. We have pile number 1, which is the end of old timelines. We have pile number 2, which is the heart opening portal. It's all about heart healing. And we have pile number 3, which is to seek the highest truth. As a reminder, these are collective readings, so you might be drawn to more than one pile, multiple piles. There might be messages for you in different piles, so really take this time, tune into your own intuition, take a really deep grounding breath and see whichever pile is calling to you the most. The timestamps for each of the readings will be below, as what are links to personal readings if you'd like a personalized reading, and to each of these pieces of artwork for sale. If you have any inquiries, please feel free to contact me. And if not, I will see you in your reading. All of the timestamps will be in the description box as well. Lots of love. See you there. Hi there, pile 1. If you were drawn to this pile, then this is your reading. I'm going to read the description and the meaning of this piece of artwork on the back. The end of old timelines. The end of old timelines, the close of pathways which may intend harm towards us, or, through anxiety, the ones which we mentally create which do not support our optimal soul expression. We begin with reversed algaes, the root of the carrion bird, and the foot of the carrion bird, and to me a sign of death and endings. It calls for closing and closure, driven by burning need, the triple soul call of Nathis paired with Dagas. Deep down, we have the strongest desire to establish ourselves with our optimal timelines and to see them become manifest reality. Tivas for balance, for what is just and feeding into the sense of purpose, destiny and justice, cosmic justice. We call to our highest path, that it may become the one we walk, and that all others, as we will often wonder, will lead us back to it. Invoking triple urus so that we may find the spiritual, emotional and mental strength and self-belief to keep upon the pursuit of our highest in all that we do, and release anything that is not intended for us or for our greatest good. I return to where I began, with the ending of those timelines which are not aligned with our highest manifestation of this existence. May the balance and strength imbued within this piece grant us discernment and release from anything which may be trying to drag us to or to create a timeline that doesn't. It is often the way that new beginnings come in the form of endings. We can consciously ask our guides and ancestors to align us with our highest potential timeline and close any that may take us from it. So that is my artwork for that energy. So I'm going to put that somewhere where you can see it. Hopefully that will be okay. Right, so without further ado, let's get into your reading. Let's get some archetypal energies. We'll do some tarot, maybe some runes over the top. Just realised there is a skeleton on my reading table. Okay. We have got the 4 of water, the mother in the reverse, and the 5 of fire. This speaks of conflict. There could be conflict. There could be difficulty in parental relationships, in connecting with our feminine energy, or even on the female ancestral line. There is a sense of here of being able to look at yourself and see the beauty of yourself regardless of what you have been through. And I know some days that might feel like a real tall order. But there is always beauty and magic and a divine soul purpose held within each and every one of us, no matter what we have been through or what circumstances have taken place. You know, the artwork here is very much about ending those old timelines of existence. And this is literally saying to me that perhaps it's time to let go of situations from the past, especially past conflict. This could be where conflict or even a relationship with a mother or a motherly figure, maybe an absent mother, somebody that hurt you, somebody that hurt. This inner conflict can be how you still feel about the situation and how you still hold yourself to account or doubt yourself or judge yourself based upon this situation. But definitely we'll get some tarot. You know, it's about recognizing your emotions, being truthful and honest with yourself and your emotions. Sorry for wobbling the camera. Which way are they calling me? They're calling me to these. What does pile 1 need to know, please? We'll get those. No, I just need to make sure that nothing has fallen down where I can't see it. No, it's fine, it's just those two. We've got the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse and the High Priestess with the Eight of Wands in the reverse. There's silence here, there's not a lot of talking, there's no movement forwards. I'm really getting for some of you with the emotions card coming up in the mother, there could have been difficult situations where you've doubted yourself, questioned your worth, questioned your value, questioned whether or not you are worthy of new beginnings, of fresh starts, of fresh opportunities, generally the good that could come in life. And whether that's because you are holding on to this pain of the past without opening it or acknowledging or sharing with anyone else. It feels a very, just this great sense of solitude almost. But this is also, with the High Priestess coming out in this way, this is a reminder that we have the power to shift our perception of who we are, to activate and make aware our inner magic. I'm being really drawn to the pomegranate seeds in the back here. Pomegranate seeds remind me of the god, the goddess Persephone, and how she had to go to the underworld for 6 months of the year with Hades, and only allowed to return to her mother, to Demeter, for 6 months of the year. Life may not all be, a certain part of life may have been in the underworld. We might have had mental health struggles or difficulties, really difficult relationships, things not going the way we would want or hope or plan, but there is a way through this. There is a sense of really need to tune in with how you feel about it, but not letting you question your worth or your value at the same time. Yes, Judgment in the reverse, releasing and surrendering judgments that you hold to hold yourself to. It almost feels like somebody else's unrealistic standards you still hold yourself to. And for some of you, this silence could be indicative of somebody else that you are not in communication with, somebody that you don't feel like you can open up or express your energy and emotions to. We've got the Queen of Cups in the reverse here with the moon over the top. And with the High Priestess, I'm definitely getting the sense of not knowing where you stand and silence. Of feeling constrained, almost feeling trapped. The Chariot on the bottom of the deck with the Nine of Wands. Definitely, this is the cycle that you are being called to look at, to really sort of view your emotions around, perhaps. I appreciate this could be an incredibly painful and difficult situation for you. And if that is the case, then it might be time to find some emotional support to help you with this situation, whether that's friends, whether that's a counsellor. I'm not a doctor, I cannot give medical advice, but from a human perspective, finding ways to share our emotions with safe people can be very, very helpful. There's definitely, I just keep getting this sense of silence, of not being in communication, some kind of conflict that's led to silence. And maybe, a close relationship with somebody that you really deeply loved and cared about now being, I don't want to say hanging in the balance, because I don't feel like that's the theme of this reading, but let's get your guidance for how you can overcome this. Child of Swords, the Magician, the Chariot in reverse. With the Chariot coming out in the reverse, I'm getting that you really don't want to rush into this. The Page of Swords can be, the Child of Swords, it can be a card of planning, a card of patience, a card of watching and waiting, strategy, but on a very gentle level. I feel like before you decide to do anything, this could be a really positive time to really focus on how you're feeling, try and resolve if there are difficult situations. And these could have been long past. It could be, you know, we've got a pretty huge eclipse coming up towards the end of October if you're watching this at the time of filming. You know, these celestial energies can really shift and dredge up old emotions from the past, especially eclipses. So if this is old emotions coming up from the past, it could be really helpful now to go back, to take some time to try and work through them. Not to, you know, magically fix it in the moment, but to bring awareness to the fact that how you are feeling in the present moment might be because of a trigger that has reminded you of something in the past. When we can gain that kind of perspective here with the Judgment card, we can put things into a more positive context in the present moment. Things can feel less overwhelming. This is where the Magician card comes in here. Using the skills that you have learned, using the skills that you have at your disposal, that you have at hand, in order to be able to overcome what it is that you're feeling in the present moment. Whether this is a current conflict, something that's happened recently, or from the long past. Really going into self, going into how this situation has made you feel, and choosing to sit with it a while, to write through how you're feeling, or to maybe get some counselling, or to speak to a friend and open up about how you feel if you have somebody you trust. There are skills that you have here that you are going to be able to apply to this situation, and you don't have to rush. With the Chariot in the reverse, you don't have to rush. This takes as long as it takes. These processes sometimes take as long as they take. And ultimately, we can't force anyone else to be fixed or to be healed. We can only focus on fixing or healing ourselves. The Death card and the Ten of Wands. Absolutely. This is the end of a difficult cycle. The end of this. This is about choosing to end. There could be a tendency here we've got the Chariot and the Chariot in the reverse. There could be a tendency or a feeling here that all is lost, that things are hopeless, that things are never going to resolve. And this is that Ten of Wands energy with the Death card. This bind rune is all about being able to overcome and choose our future outcome. We might not always understand how to do that, but this is where we can ask our God's guides, spirits, ancestors, you know, our spirit guides to come in, to assist us, to support us, to end or to direct us to the timelines of our highest and greatest good. And we can choose to end those timelines by releasing ourselves from the negative emotions that, once we've processed them, of course, we can't just switch these things off and we can't bypass them, but processing those emotions, resolving what is underlying so that they can't influence our future, so that they can't trigger us in the present moment into becoming somebody that we have, you know, previously healed, or it just isn't the person that we want to be. You know, it's a time of real transformation here. And the Queen of Cups in the upright now, definitely coming to this point of really reconnecting with these emotions that you may have had to shut off in order to survive, or in order to just survive and to overcome a situation. You might have had so many other commitments that this stuff has just had to be pushed to the back burner. But now if it's coming up to be worked with. And that's not to make you feel trapped or to make you feel stuck or to punish you with the past. It's to help you to overcome it so it can no longer trigger you in the present moment. It loses its power. These emotions, we can't take away what happened, but we can process them to the point at which they diminish their charge over our current life, our daily life. Let's get some. I only want one of these, please, Spirit. Thank you. Athena, knowledge in the reverse. For some of you, you might be saying that you don't know how to do this. For some of you, you might be saying that you don't know how to overcome this situation, that you don't know the way ahead. And I think that's very much held here in this Moon and the Queen of Cups in the reverse. With this Page of Swords energy coming through, it could definitely be a time of you taking as long as you need to process what it is that you're feeling, to process what you've been going through. Nobody has to, there's no rush on doing this. It takes as long as it takes. And just because you haven't done it in, 5 minutes or through one meditation doesn't mean that you've failed. Interesting. Your dreams need a practical plan. You are good enough. A new start is coming. So if there's some kind of situation from the past where you're holding yourself back from a new beginning because of, these feelings from the past, especially with this Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, if there is a situation from the past, a relationship, a connection that either recently or in the past has made you question your worth, your value, whether or not you can do the things that you want to do, be the person that you want to be, and truly live a life that you want to live, this is literally saying that you are going to find a practical plan ahead of this, and proactively seeking out support and guidance might be really beneficial. We have a new moon coming up if you're watching this at the time of this reading, which is around this eclipse. But this is a reminder that you were good enough. This is that Four of Water energy. You don't need to question or doubt yourself. You don't need to... there's a message here about other people's treatment of you, not defining your worth and your value and the outcome of the rest of your life. We can go through truly horrific experiences and overcome them and find a deeper and more healed version of ourselves just through going through this process. And I heard something really profound yesterday, and it was about the illusion that healing has to be a solo process. And that really, really struck me, because so many of us struggle and feel like we have to heal on our own, and that we're not worthy for love, for compassion, for the support of others, to be around others until we are healed. Whereas actually your community, your family, the people around you, your friends that love you, want to be there and support you through your worst times. So I'm definitely getting the message that for some of you, your spirit guides want you to connect with them, to connect with your friends, your family, maybe a counsellor or a professional, somebody that you think is going to be able to help you. And, this process might be little bits of information coming through. Take note of the repeating messages and information that comes through, because there's going to be wisdom and magic in there for you. Exiled, feeling of illusion, disconnect and isolation. And it's so funny how I was just saying about this need to heal on our own, and how this is one of the biggest traps of our spiritual existence right now, is this feeling that we have to go away and be healed before we can connect with others. This is a message here from your guides about not closing yourself from other people. This transformation is led and happens and occurs by opening doors and allowing doors to open, allowing pathways of communication to open with people who feel safe, who are there to support you. And sometimes we feel like nobody is there to support us. And then we can literally ask our guides and ancestors for the person, for the solution, for the one who's going to help us. You've got the stag here, trust and thrive. So this could very much be about leaning on a masculine energy. It doesn't have to be a male, but a masculine energy. Somebody who's going to be able to give you practical solutions, who's going to be able to give you structured methodology, maybe a coach or a counsellor, like I've said a few times, maybe a coach even, to give you practical solutions around what you might be trying to overcome, which could really, really help you right now. Let's get one more. And there's a message here of just being able to do this, just knowing that whatever you're going through, this is not the be-all and end-all of who you are. You are so much greater than your experiences. And our experiences shape us in many ways. But we also have the power to shape ourselves by resolving the emotions connected to those experiences. We can never take them away, but we can work on our emotional triggers around what happened. Arise from the ashes of despair, retreat into nature and solitude. I'm definitely getting the message right now that you are going through your own phoenix transformation. It can feel sometimes that you are never going to get out of the depths of what has happened. This is a message from your guides and your ancestors that you absolutely will. And it might take you a bit of time. You might want to seek out some support from friends or loved ones, even just to express how you're feeling. They want you to know that you don't have to be here on your own, that you don't have to suffer on your own. And whilst you might feel, maybe you feel more at peace around animals, or there could be some comfort in that for you, they really just want you to know that they are here for you. And if you ask for their support and assistance, you can just say a little a prayer, an offering, and just say, I'm so grateful that my guides have already offered me the solution to this problem. Thank you for your assistance and support in this matter. And ask for the highest and most benevolent guidance you can possibly receive in this situation to support you on your path ahead. Overall though, Pile 1, this is really just a message of you being able to overcome this. And it might take you some time, but if you were in that place of despair, you will overcome this. And it doesn't have to take a long time. It will take as long as you need, and that's absolutely okay. You are still worthy of a fresh start. You are still worthy of good things. And sometimes I think we just need to hear that. Pile number 1, thank you for being here. If you would like a personalised reading, please feel free to check out the links below. If I can assist you, if you'd like to look at the artwork, the links are there below as well. But just sending you all my love. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope this assisted you, and I will see you in another reading. Take care. Hi there, Pile 2. If you were drawn to this pile, then this is your reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the meaning of this artwork. You were drawn to the heart opening portal today. So we'll start with this, and then we'll go in with your runes and tarot. Let me just adjust that lighting somehow. It's just gone really dark. Sorry about that. Don't know what was going on there. Elemental doorways and gateways gifted from the forest. This bind rune is crafted to balance and center the heart, calling in strength and a sense of equilibrium as we work through our patterning and realign with our truest self-awareness. It represents our understanding of relationships, our connection to self and the outer world, and our inheritance, which can include our genetic inheritance, karma, and emotional baggage. This portal opens us to balance and justice, but also duty and a sense of doing the right thing. Invoking equilibrium to the center of this great personal work will help us to bring ourselves back into alignment and release the karma and negative patterning we are ready to heal. So that is the meaning of that piece right there. This is one of my earliest works that was actually available for print. With that in mind, let's get some cards and let's get into your reading. So this is messages from your spirit guides, that will include God's guides, ancestors, beings of the highest and most beneficial wisdom for this reading. Okay. Had lots of cards flying off the table today. So apologies for the chair scraping. Bottom of the deck, the 3 of fire in the reverse, Queen of fire in the reverse. We've got the 9 of earth, the 3 of earth in the reverse, and the mother. Interesting. What's really interesting to me is we have this very, very predominant earth energy here, and this fire energy in the reverse. And this feels like a message of really coming into ground and not acting on impulses at this time. Whilst there might be a desire to, you might be feeling that will and desire to really move forwards and to try some new things. What I'm getting here is there could be something that you'd already invested into that you might be considering walking away from, or already have walked away from, or there is something that you're not sure that you want to invest in. But we've got these very nurturing energies here in the 9 of earth and the mother. Very deeply nurturing, abundant feminine energies of growth, of patience. And it's interesting to me that the Three of Earth is portrayed as a masculine energy of investment, of time, of energy, of resources, and that's in the reverse. And what we have is this feminine energy. Now, there's going to be multiple different messages here, and I'm getting a lot of different messages. For some of you, this is a reminder that you cannot force a situation. You can only invest what you can invest, and not to the expense of yourself. Coming back to the feminine energy, regardless of sex or gender, will allow things to naturally unfold and manifest in your life. It creates a sense of openness to receptivity in your energy. Whereas if we're in our masculine energy, we can constantly be doing and pushing things away. I'm sorry, this lighting is not good today and I keep wobbling the camera. So this feels very much like regaining a sense of balance, being grounded into this feminine energy of not pushing or forcing things at this time, but also looking at where we've not made investments. So for some of you, there could be conflict within a relationship and you're being pulled between moving towards something new and making an investment and really not knowing what to do. For some of you, if you're single and you've been dating, this is really a message of continuing to nurture yourself, continuing to nurture and focus on yourself, seeing your worth and value, seeing that you are, seeing the beauty and the gifts of who you are, and knowing and owning that as truth, and watching how, especially if these people, these energies around you are people that have not been open or committing to you, this is about you being open to them by recognizing that worth in yourself. So definitely, I feel like this heart-opening portal is leading you to a place of self-love, of self-awareness, and recognizing patterns where we might hold ourselves back, or we might over-invest too soon and then wonder why we feel depleted, or somebody hasn't matched our level of investment into a situation. That doesn't have to be love, it can be anything. But also seeing where we perhaps are afraid to make an investment for the fear of getting hurt. Yeah. We've got another card of investment and work here with the Eight of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Three of Swords in the reverse. And Three of Swords for me is one of those cards that doesn't come out very often. But for the very fact that probably the one and only piece I've really, it's not the only one dedicated to heartache, but to sort of heart healing, and we've got the Three of Swords in the reverse. You could definitely be healing some kind of pain, something that you've not fully moved on from because you're not exploring these new options yet. And if you're still really suffering or in heartache or pain from the investment that you made, this is saying now to invest this time in yourself. Whatever situation you have been through, whether this is heartache over career, or a family that's broken down, or parental relationships, whether it's romantic relationships, lost opportunities. Maybe for some of you, I'm getting the message, it could be overcoming addiction and you fell off the wagon again. And I'm sorry, that sounds so flippant. It's a phrase, isn't it? You know, if there's been a relapse of some kind, this is saying you've got the skills to overcome this again. Wherever you are right now, you have the skills and you can put in the effort. Focus the energy back into you. Focus your energy back into you. Commit to understanding your triggers, understanding your pain, understanding the weight of your heart in order for you to be able to overcome it, in order for you to be able to move forwards. It's the same card. This Nine of Earth, the Nine of Pentacles. This is really and truly about you finding that strength, that magic in you, finding the beauty and the power of who you are once again, recognizing the magic of who you are, and moving away from situations that no longer serve you. If you've been struggling with addiction or with situations, circumstances that make you question yourself, perhaps there's situations, people that are around you that are not good for you, that trigger old parts of you, that cause you to go back to an older, more unhealed version of who you are or who you've been. This is literally saying you can walk away from this energy. You don't have to stay around what is familiar if it harms you. You don't have to just stay where you are because it's what you know. It can mean walking away. It can mean that you might be feeling resistance to doing so. And for some of you, there's a message here of, you know, maybe you can't walk away from a situation. Maybe if this is a family environment, difficulties with children, you can't just break up with somebody and walk away from them. But what you can do is really put the energy in and focus on and work on yourself. The Nine of Pentacles comes after the Eight. The Eight of Pentacles is all about investment and putting in the work, the time, the investment and energy to yield this result. This is abundance. This is fulfillment. This is feeling safe in your own skin. This is feeling confident, feeling happy again. They often say this is pre-Empress energy. The mother is the Empress. This is what you're working towards. This is what you're working on. This is what you can embody. You can claim this. It doesn't have to be held off far in the distance. You can be, people can have breakthroughs. People can go back into rehab. People can reconnect with support systems that have assisted them in the past. Sometimes it's a matter of making a phone call or a decision, and that can be the hardest step, but that in itself is an act of self-love. Choosing to invest in yourself is an act of self-love. It breaks those patterns. It shifts us forwards. I will see which way that landed. I'm going to get it in a second. How does a pile 2 overcome this, please? What is the highest guidance? I'll get the one that landed on the floor. It did land in the reverse. Excuse me, I just need a sip of my tea. The Two of Cups in the reverse, the Explorer of Cups, the Five of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Ten of Swords. There could be a lot of different energies and dynamics in this situation. There could be a lot of people involved. This could definitely be over past love, love lost, heartbreak. It could be connected to a specific person, to a family, like I said, a family member. What you're being called to do here is to open your heart once again, which can feel very, very scary and very, very difficult. With the Five of Cups and the Five of Wands, you're being asked to no longer look at the past. We might have to look at the past sometimes in order to overcome it. But in order to overcome it, we cannot stay in the past. We can't look at all the broken cups on the side and think that's all it will ever be. Because behind us are these Two of Cups. What you don't see now, pile number 2, is the good that's going to come after this situation. After you make some of these decisions or commitments to yourself to move forwards, to invest in yourself. You might not see that in this moment. It might feel hopeless right now. And for some of you, if you've got a lot of people outside of you telling you what to do, a lot of other people's opinions, a lot of conflicting opinions, or people trying to issue their opinion and get involved, you're being told to come back to yourself, to explore your truth. With the Magician here, with these cards of sovereignty, of your own sovereign self, explore what makes you tick. Explore what these Two of Cups are for you. The sense of destiny, of purpose, of a fulfilling relationship, of love. And with the Five of Swords on the bottom of the deck, don't let anybody deceive you. Don't let the weight of other people's opinions cloud on top of you so that you get stuck in this Ten of Swords. You don't have to. You might feel like you've been stabbed in the back or been betrayed, and you're entitled to feel that way, but we do have to begin to resolve these feelings so that we can overcome them, so that we don't hold them in our hearts and attract more of them. And it's not that it's our fault, but it's an energetic thing. The more that we can release, the more that we can overcome. Metis, wisdom. Sorry if I've pronounced that badly. And Maya, illusion in the reverse. She fell out onto the floor. This is about releasing these illusions about life, about who we are, about our self-perception, the pain and the conflict of the past. It's finding how these situations helped you to grow. And that's a tall order sometimes, I know. But there is a way of doing that. There is a way of overcoming. It's possible to move forwards. I really am just getting this message of investing in yourself, investing in your work, investing in what you do for yourself, and refilling your own cup. Come on, for pile 2, please. I'm not going to take all of... Okay, I will. Prosperity lies ahead. A time for healing. Bring love into the situation. Nothing will come of the situation. I'm getting the message there that nothing will come of this situation, and nothing will change to bring healing unless you can bring love into the situation. And this is that card of self-love. This is that message of self-love. You need to bring, you know, with these 9 of Pentacles, the 8 and the Magician, bring love into the situation for you. The Explorer of Cups, explore what feels good for you. Explore what makes you feel loved. Explore what makes you feel happy. You know, that's not for other people to tell you. No one else can tell you how that feels. Inspirational creation. Really connecting with this feminine energy within yourself. Whether you're a male or female, it doesn't matter. No gender matters here. This is about feminine energy within. Going into that sacred space within you. Understanding that what has happened in the past can be alchemized. It can be turned into our own riches, the wealth of our wisdom and our experience. It can help us define parameters about treatment that we no longer want to receive or experience, in order so that we can then choose differently, so that we can have different relationships. That's how we alchemize our past in order to create our future. This is that 9 of Pentacles energy. This is what you're being invited to do. Doesn't mean that you have to have every single answer right now. I've missed one. Doesn't mean that you have to have every single answer right now. But as this process unfolds, you will find your path. You will find your way. Move beyond ancestral patterns. Just because something has always been done a certain way within your family line, or if there is a repeating pattern of a particular type of behavior that you now recognize and no longer want to carry out within your personal life, within your own personality or your relationships, you can make the conscious decision to change. This can be those moments. Once you've seen that pattern, you bring awareness to it. You bring awareness and light, and then change through healing emotions, through, yes, look through the mist, find the mystery. There is something being revealed to you through these situations, and that is an invitation to overcome these patternings, to heal through this patterning, to find a new way forwards, a new path ahead. And what you do when we bring this type of healing work into our lives, when we commit to it for ourselves, we overcome it. We release future generations. We can help bring healing to past generations. Trauma is carried epigenetically. There's a reference to this in the description. If you didn't watch the beginning of the reading, I'd go back and watch it again. You could be carrying epigenetic patterning through our DNA, through what we inherit from our parents. And this can be down thousands and thousands of years. This is a scientifically proven, the science of epigenetics and genetic trauma that is carried down throughout families is proven. So there can be triggers, there could be emotional patterns or patterns of behavior, pain, heartache from the past because of situations or experiences that you can be carrying. You can overcome this. It's a tall order, this kind of work, in this sort of spiritual growth work. But if you're being invited, you don't have to accept the invitation, but you might find that subconsciously just working on these patterns, these beliefs, is enough to shift realities, is enough to shift you forwards, is enough to release and break some of those patterns. It's just about our conscious awareness and bringing light to those darker places of shadow that may have been repressed or hidden within us. Pile 2, These are really intense readings. I'm going to leave this here for you. If you would like a personal reading, or if you'd like to look at my artwork, all of the information is in the description box below with links. Thank you for spending your time with me. I truly hope this reading assisted you, and just sending you all my love. I will see you again in another reading very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile 3. If you were drawn to this pile, then this is your reading. You were drawn to this artwork today, which is to seek the highest truth. I'm going to read the description on the back of the cards to explain the artwork, and then we'll go through do your cards. So there might be a message in here for you too. To seek the highest truth, to call in balance and justice, met with awareness of all actions and all that has been. This bind speaks of illumination and seeing the truth beyond deception by both seeking within and without. It calls us to discern the truth in all as we see and experience it, and to use it to act in a just manner. Deeply connected to Tyr, this piece calls us to root into our foundations, our truth, our wisdom, and experience and walk with it at our core, for all we do causes ripples of consequence, both good and bad. It may sound very intense, but being true to ourselves can become a daily ritual, as simple as really owning our authenticity and sharing that with the world. Why? Because that is our highest inner truth, and the expression of it allows others to open to their own truth the same. It issues us with the strength to see when we have been deceived, when we deceive ourselves or betray our own truth. Sometimes we are called to stand against injustice, lest we turn a blind eye to the suffering of others and those that would treat us the same. There is also an element of healing through seeking the truth of the past and seeing it with fresh perspective, to reconcile our experience and to move on from it. Sometimes it is only the passing of time and self-awareness that issues us peace from such situations. May we know ourselves and know our truth to uphold balance and justice. So I'm going to leave that there so you can see it through the reading. And I'm going to go in with your cards. And I'm going to start here and get some overall energies. As a reminder, personal readings, or if you'd like to look at any of my artwork, all the information is in the description box below. For pile 3, please. Messages from your spirit guides. Wow. Yeah. You are literally being told to align with your truth here, and the truth of who you are, the truth of what you need. Releasing the past with the 7 of water. Releasing the illusions and deceptions that we can hold about ourselves with the 4 of water in the reverse. We could be kidding ourselves sometimes, telling ourselves that things are okay in our lives when actually they don't feel okay, when actually we feel uncomfortable or we feel like something is wrong. This is why the intuition card is in the reverse here. This could be a very physical sensation within the body of anxiety, of discomfort, of displeasure, of just things not feeling right, not right with who we are, not right with what's going on. And this is a call. This is a call to come back to center. This is the 11 of air. You're being called to come back to your own personal center, to find the truth of your own heart and to really align with it. And like I said, that can be about a major cause. It could be about events that are going on with the world. It could be about how a situation, a job, a relationship makes you feel. It could be about, say, going out with your friends and choosing whether to drink or to not drink, or, those kinds of life choices based upon how it truly and deeply makes you feel, and not allowing yourself to succumb to the false deceptions or masks or illusions that we might, from time to time, feel inclined to, that we might tell ourselves. Sometimes we tune out our intuition, we tune out our inner truth because it's uncomfortable, because it makes us feel uncomfortable, because we worry about the consequences of saying, this isn't okay, I'm not okay with this doesn't feel right, and what might happen thereafter. And weirdly, the discomfort when you've endured so much of it, and the pain or suffering even, can be more comfortable than the fear of the unknown. And what we're doing is hanging on and holding on to patterns which may really make us unhappy, to situations that make us unhappy, or circumstances. I just saw 4444. That might be meaningful for some of you. But we stay in that place because the only thing worse than being in that place of suffering is not knowing whether or not, or what kind of suffering might come if we walk away from it. And actually what we don't see is both sides of the coin, both sides of this mask here. Sorry. We don't see both sides of the mask, both sides of the mirror. And that is that things can be a lot better once we go through that door, once we cross that threshold, once we decide that we are going to listen to that inner voice, listen to our emotions, listen to the sensations of our body and what it's telling us. Once we come to that place, then we have to be honest with ourselves. The devil in the reverse. We have to be honest with ourselves and release anything that no longer feels aligned for us, anything that doesn't bring us satisfaction, joy, or happiness. There could be this resistance to do that because of the fear of being alone, the fear of being isolated, and fearing that things won't work out with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. But we can't live in a place of fear. If we want to end these cycles of imbalance, we have to commit to moving forwards. And the King of Swords came out in the upright. This is all about no longer letting things just be the way they are. Not living with what we have out of fear of what may be when we don't know what may be yet. Just for the sake of it. Just for habit. Just because it's safer than the unknown. The King of Swords here is really about finding our own mind. And the Eight of Wands. You know, you've got two major arcana in the reverse here. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But this is about saying. It could be fear of being alone. Fear of what might happen. Fear of over-investing in something and then being disappointed. You know, with the devil there, we're releasing the baggage. Releasing the hang-ups, releasing the weight of these energies as they may feel. We don't have to be bound by them. We don't have to be held in patterns and cycles that no longer work for us just for the sake of it. The King of Swords here is about discernment. It's about knowing your mind, about knowing and being able to convey and express that. And we have to do that to ourselves first before we can do that to anybody else. So you're really being called to ask, to inquire within about how situations make you feel, about what it is that you want, about the ways in which you want them to go and how you want things to unfold or to be revealed. You do have a choice in this matter, and this is about taking your power back. So with the Eight of Wands here, that you can move forwards, owning your truth, taking your power back and moving forwards. The Knight of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands on the bottom of the deck. You could be waiting for a sign, is what I'm getting. Waiting for some kind of message, waiting for somebody else to jump, waiting for some kind of outer influence. For some of you, you might receive some kind of message or communication that makes you realize that something has to change now and something has to end. For others of you, the Knight of Pentacles speaks of slow moving progress. It is progress. Sometimes things don't have to happen in a flash. Sometimes things don't happen really quickly. Sometimes processes evolve. Sometimes things do take their time. Sometimes things need to take their time. And things will be worked out in time. But you're really being told that whatever you're being presented with now, whatever you're feeling and sensing, own that. Own those intuitive nudges. Be honest with yourself. Be real about them. You know, really and truly look at them with an openness and honesty for self. We come to that place first, and then we can express it with others at the right time and as is needed. But this, if you're looking for a swift and rapid change, it comes from being honest with yourself. Let's get some more cards here. How can pile 3 overcome this, please? Yeah. Two of Swords can be a card of indecision. It's in the reverse. So this is about not being indecisive anymore. And with the Five of Swords, it's not being deceptive to self. There might be, this can sound really brutal, but I mean, this could be about anything. This could be about, you know, having an extra sweet treat or something during the course of the day. If you're feeling frustrated about health or weight or those kinds of things, it could be about the weight of a relationship or a job that no longer feels fulfilling. Anywhere like that, where we this eclipse, we're approaching an eclipse in October at the time of me filming this. Anywhere where we are holding deceptions or illusions of self are going to come to the surface right now. And that can be a really challenging energy, because it can be the one thing we really don't want to face. We can make everybody else happy. We can put on all the masks and play all the parts to keep everything ticking over smoothly, gently, and in order. But the one thing one person we can't kid is ourselves. Ultimately, this whole reading is about you being truthful with yourself, about how you're feeling about your situations, or if there's one situation in mind. Yeah, the Queen of Swords and the Ten of Swords in the reverse. Again, another card of discernment. There's a lot of swords here, a lot of mental energy, a lot of thinking things through. And, you know, you could be quite in your headspace with this, and that's okay. Sometimes we have to think things through. With the Queen of Swords coming out next to the Ten of Swords, you know, and the King, sometimes it's better to think things through before we just start saying things off the bat. It could be a really positive time to, and it could be very vital now to think before we talk, especially if there are difficult people. I mean, I don't mean, you know, that you should hold back on your truth, because the Queen of Swords will just speak her truth. So there's a dual energy there of really owning your truth, speaking your truth when you need to speak your truth. And actually, for some of you, to end or prevent a difficult situation getting worse, or a cycle from getting any worse, you could really need to speak your truth. You could just really need to say it as it is and say it as it comes. And on the other side of that, yeah, the Three of Swords with the Sun. And it feels like, you might feel like you're in a bit of a double bind here, that there's no way out or no way through. But the way back to balance is understanding that it's okay for certain things not to work out. It's okay to leave a job or a career that doesn't feel fulfilling. Maybe some of you went to college or university and studied for a career that now you want to do something else. And there is this sense of being bound to it. You know, I'm just throwing out examples of being bound to it, duty bound almost. Like you've got to see something through because it's what you were trained to do. But actually your heart is calling you in a different direction. But you're not listening to your heart, or you don't want to. And instead it's, I've got to keep doing this, or I can't follow this dream. If you're feeling the weight or the suffering or the pain in your heart, the way back to happiness is to really own that and bring it into balance. You know, there's a sense of healing here with Temperance. And you can call in that healing, call in those blessings, call in those supportive energies. Ask your gods, guides, angels, ancestors, spirit guides, spiritual team for support. Ask them for the highest and most beneficial solution for the situation for all involved. Ask them for their assistance. Bridget, creative spark. I definitely feel for some of you that there is this spark within, this calling that you've not been perhaps listening to, or something that you've been trying to ignore, an impulse, that spark of passion, of energy pulling you in a new direction that perhaps you haven't pursued, or perhaps you've been tuning it out with this intuition in the reverse here. Perhaps you feel like you can't do something, like it's not the right time, that you, like I said, you're duty bound to other things, but there is something calling at you that you really want to express at some point. I can't take all of those. Okay, we will do. Step out of your comfort zone with the North Node. Expect powerful change. It's time to take action. A fiery climax approaches. Take time to breathe out. Conclusions are within reach. I definitely feel like this situation is resolving. It might be that there is some sort of short, sharp shock, something that happens. I'm not getting tower energy, to be honest with you, but it feels more like a decision that you make to cut something off and to end a cycle with this Ten of Swords in the reverse. We have the full moon eclipse here and a new moon eclipse. We have a new moon eclipse at the end of the month. At the time of filming this, there is definitely a big call here for you to shift beyond just being comfortable or quietening out what it is that you really want to make other people comfortable. It feels like really connecting with how you feel, what it is that you want, and being able to express that. And whoever you're expressing that to, first to self, of course, but whoever you're expressing that to will either understand or they won't. And we have to give people the freedom. There's loads just falling out. We have to give people the freedom to misunderstand us. It was the exploration card that came out in the upright. This could be very, very new for you. This could feel very, very new. You could be at a place where you've not ever put yourself first or not put your needs first for a very long time. It could be that you're putting this dream at the forefront of your mind for the first time in your life. And finally saying to yourself, maybe if you have been pressured into education or a certain career path or something, this could be the first time you say, well, perhaps I can do something different. Perhaps I can be different. Perhaps I don't have to be what I was told I had to be. And perhaps this is my opportunity to shine. And that can ripple out in all ways of life. Maybe there is family patterning or expectations that you've carried for a really long time, that now all of a sudden you're just realizing that that isn't the truth of who you are. It could be religious, spiritual, societal. We've also got the promise and celestial assistance here. Soulmates, attraction, partnership, and celestial assistance. I feel like you were loved, protected, and supported. There could be soulmate energy coming in for you, and that doesn't have to be romantic. Soulmate energy can be the highest and most healing energy of all in the form of friends. It could also be a spirit guide or ancestor or guardian of some kind, a guardian angel that's there and ready to support you. This is related to Metatron, so that could be somebody, if you work with angels, that you might be guided to work with. Really interesting. Pile 2 had this card as well, and they only got one as well. Move beyond ancestral patterns. You could be really called right now to look at your patterning, to look at the behaviors that you're carrying. I'm just throwing out examples here, but were you always told that you had to get married and raise a family, and that was all that was expected of you, or that you went into the world of work and you just worked a 9 to 5 job and that was what the world expects of you? These kinds of things that we hold to, that make us, that aren't necessarily our truth, that aren't our highest expression of who we want to be, of who we desire to be, of what we believe we could be. But we hold on to these perceptions, and sometimes it can be from the world around us, from the way we dress to the things that we buy. Do we feel pressured to be a certain way? Let peace prevail. And I feel like when we come to that place of inner truth, when we come to that place of within ourselves, where we know who we are, where we can own who we are, where we can express ourselves freely to ourselves in the beginning, when you feel ready, we can begin to express and share that energy with other people. Once we're in that energy, there's no deceptions anymore. We can be our authentic self, and we can do that freely without fear. We know that we're okay, that we are loved for who we are, and certain people around us may not be able to accept that version of ourselves, but we know that we're not hiding ourselves or cutting ourselves short or selling ourselves short in this lifetime, and that you can be and express and do and have all that you want to do. It's really powerful energy here, pile 3. A great deal of change, and a lot of self-compassion. I think that's the word that I haven't said through this reading, is that call and that need for self-compassion, for self-love, and to be gentle. The truth can be a gentle dawning. It doesn't have to be a wildly intense slap around the face. Sometimes it's both. But allow your truth to dawn upon you and awaken so that you can become your highest self-expression in your own time, at your own speed, and just watch as the world unfolds around you. So, pile 3, I'll leave this here. All of my information, all the links for purchasing are in the description box below. I just want to say a massive thank you for being here, for sharing your time with me. It means the world to me, and I love you all very, very much. So thank you, and I'll see you again in another reading. Take care. Bye-bye.